Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Hey, this is the second episode. Yes, it is. And today we're going to talk about my first day in prison. So if you're new here, make sure you like, comment, and ding, 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 subscribe. If you are old time around the time, welcome to the tribe. Welcome back. We are live. So y'all sit tight so we can go on this roller coaster ride. I wasn't always the woman you see today. My story started right here in Miami, Florida. I was a young mom, just trying to figure life out. But the choices I made, they led me down a path I thought I'd never escape. It wasn't just about me anymore. My decisions touched my children, my family, everything, and that road eventually led me to prison. But that's not where my story ends, because I discovered something powerful, how to turn pain into purpose and prison into a platform. This is how I went from prison to purpose. So you guys, that's just how went to court. You say you fighting charges, you fighting, baby. I was fighting, but I was fighting like this, like in the name, in the money name. Listen, y'all, but I'm so serious. Going through court and everything. Now be mindful. You gotta follow me. The crime happened in 2006, you guys. In Miami, Florida in 2006. I had left Miami, moved on about my life, relocated, migrated to Georgia. No, I wasn't running from them. I didn't even know they was looking for me. Had I did, baby, I would have ran left hook. You know what I'm saying? I married a Jamaican. Okay, I'm just saying. The crime happened in 2006. So I moved to Brunswick, Georgia. And baby, when them people came at that door, I was at the door talking big cash trash. Like, who is you? Why you here? Because mind you, they came and indicted me in 2013. Now, I don't know what they was doing, sitting around looking, plotting, and just plundering and looking for stuff. But baby, when they came knocking at that door, they was looking for the big fella. A lot of y'all probably ain't even know that. But yeah, okay, big for no reason. That was me. Yes, it really is. However, I'm at the door telling me something. That's me. Whatever. Who you looking for? Why you here? Get off my grass. I'm talking about I was popping my stuff and I was popping it real big because I didn't do anything then. I wasn't in that lifestyle. I wasn't getting into trouble. I was trying to wonder why y'all at my door with all these black vests on with these bright yellow letters. IRS, DEA. Baby. When he say, well, what do you have tattoos? Yeah, I got tattoos. And who are you? And this and this and this. What? Identify your tattoos. Identify yourself. That's what I said, baby. When I held that arm out and he seen this, that man took my arm and like, swung me back. I was like, wait a minute. Hold on. I wasn't ready. I'm not ready. They sentenced me to 51 months. And when I walked in, I thought prison was going to look like Orange is the New Black. Child, I was wrong. Very. Baby, when I tell y'all back then, I thought I was hustling, but I was really hustling myself right up into the system. When I say right up in there, you lean up and be like, huh? Who said that? Who that for? Right on up in the system. But I never felt bad about it because I was a single mother that was feeding her children. I was trying to feed my kids to make a way for my four small children back then. So do I regret it? Really, I don't. I just thank God it wasn't violent. I thank God that it wasn't malicious or this. Because to be honest with you, real honest, I didn't even know I was committing a crime. To be honest. Now, they claim I took $4.2 million from the government. But at that time, like I said, I was feeding my children. So when a mother, and not justifying it, but I'm just telling you what it was. In 2006, baby, yeah. So having to deal with and get there to get things done, baby, you had to do what you had to do. So I had to go to court, went through there. I wasn't taking them people to trial. Wasn't doing that. Because all my life I heard one thing about them feds, them alphabet boys, baby, when they come, they come. They got what they got and they know what they know, and what they don't know, they gonna make it up. You hear me? Okay, you wasn't gonna have to make up nothing else on me. Not nothing. You wasn't even gonna have to go in there and tell the judge she ain't lotion her ankles. Because I was prepared. Not mentally, but I was like, baby, that's not what I'm doing. I'm not playing handball, racquetball, or no type of balls with y'all. I play with some balls if I ain't got to go, but that's not what I'm doing. Got my sentence. I was sentenced to 51 months federal prison, you guys. 51 months. My charges was aggravated identity theft. I had 7 counts of that and 1 count of conspiracy. By law, the federal law, when you have aggravated identity theft, you're supposed to get 24 months per charge. Somebody say, won't he do it? That was 7 years right there because I had 7 counts. And the DA wanted 6 years for the conspiracy. So if you could really do a little math, just a little bit, that was 20 years. And they world months or whatever, 220 months or whatever, however you want to count it. Baby, I stopped counting after my fingers and toes was gone. I couldn't even count or phantom that. What I did was count on the word, what I knew. And I knew that this was about to be a journey. It was about to be a battle. So I can remember my ex-husband at the time getting ready, preparing, because the day that I was sentenced, they gave me my sentence and everything. And these are the court papers again, my charges and all that. Yeah. Taking that ride, baby, it was one of the longest rides of my life. I sat back in the car, and y'all know the time when things are going on, you be reminiscing, and baby, that's when you pray, when you say, "Now, Father." But during the ride, myself and my ex-husband, we was going to take my daughter to his brother's wife house. Destiny was 2 at the time, I believe. Don't quite remember. I think she was 1 finna be 2 or 2 finna be 3, something like that. I was mentally wasn't there. At that time, I had 6 children. And I mentally wasn't there. I couldn't phantom that, girl, you are about to go to prison. Court had happened. The time was given. Now you on this way there. And one thing about me, y'all know when you could try to buck something, you're gonna try to do everything in your power to buck. Baby, at that time I had just had a abdominoplasty. Y'all know that as a tummy tuck. Listen, that was in October 2013. So what they did was my ex-husband, they had gonna brought the man in, baby. They the feds don't play. The most crookedest people I know. Y'all heard me. I ain't gonna say it too loud. They might be listening. They the most crookedest I know. They indicted that man and gave him a charge. Well, guess what? When they say Bonnie and Clyde, that man was not Bonnie nor Clyde. He just took their time. However, I saw a show. It was a couple on one of them housewife shows, and they had got a federal indictment. And the judge allowed one of them to turn themselves in and go serve time while the other one stay out. So I was sitting there in court asking the lawyer, like, that's what you go ask no, the judge is not going to do that. Either you going to ask him or I'm going to ask him, but somebody going to ask him. He act like he couldn't talk. I had to stand up, Yana, heary. And I asked the judge, and he did allow that. He granted us. So, y'all, I kept asking for extension. I was like, oh, my stomach hurt, my side bleed, my back itching, my ankle swole, everything. So about the 3rd extension, the judge say, I'm going to continue to give you everyone you want. Because how they set it up was they allowed my ex-husband to go serve his time, which they only sentenced him to 15 months. So I think he was gone about 8 months, and then a halfway house or whatever, how they break it down, cut it in half. So once he got back in our house, everything went to breaking loose. I was like, baby, my head hurt, my neck hurt, my stomach hurt, because the lawyer was telling me, like, we know you just had a surgery, and if you're not feeling well, we could petition the courts. I say, petition the courts for what? He said, help you stay out a little longer. Ooh, something hurting. So on that 3rd extension, the judge said, I remember him saying, I'm going to give you everyone you want, but you're just postponing yourself. So I knew I had to face the music, y'all. So we on the ride. We had gonna dropped our daughter off and everything. And you guys, I remember like never before. When I tell you, I remember the Holy Spirit spoke to me so vividly. And it gave me the title of my book. And it was like, I had to die to live again. So that's where that book title came from. He gave me two. That one, then he gave me the title too. I'm not going to say it on here. Y'all turn around and name y'all book that. But okay, anyway. So, get into the gritty. The judge had recommended that I start my time at a camp because I had never been in trouble before or whatever. And I guess that's the lowest facility that you could go to. So I'm like, okay, baby, I'm going to be in camp, Cookanoot, whatever. Baby, how about I didn't know? It wasn't up to the judge. It was up to the U.S. Marshals and where they had space. And baby, where they had space was behind the wall, behind the gates. So I had to self-surrender myself to Tallahassee Federal Prison, 501 Capitol Circle. And this is what that facility looked like when I was walking up to it. Baby, I had the papers in my hand, clutching them. And I felt like I was about to sign myself into one of the worst hotels in the world. Baby, when I seen that prison, everything in me flipped, even my lunch. I said, nope, this ain't it. Lord, my stomach tried to pack up and leave me before I did. That was my wake-up call right there. Because listen, walls don't talk, but they sure do scream. Get it together! When I looked at these papers, that first day of prison taught me I couldn't keep living in survival mode. Prison didn't break me. It introduced me to purpose. I'm getting out, walking up to the door. Y'all, I had on my sweatsuit because you call a prison and they'll tell you like what you could wear or whatever. They don't give you all the details. Baby, so I came there with my braids sling because some people had told me you could wear hair in your head. Had my diamond ring on, my wedding ring, and y'all know it was like a little mini mansion. I was sitting up. So I walked up to the steps. I'll never forget it. My husband was holding my hand, my ex-husband. And we walked up. And I'll never forget, an officer came to the door. She was almost my height. So she was about 5'2", caramel skin and round. But she had demeanor. She had swag. She was like, hello, how you doing? What's your name? Her name was Lieutenant Sutton. I never forget her. She was a real one. She treated you like a human being. But baby, when she slung that door open, it was like Arnold Schwarzenegger. What's your name? Estella Wright. What is it? Speak up, baby. Speak up. And she was from New York or up north somewhere. So y'all know that. Speak up, honey. So I told her. She was like 17952-021. So I'm looking at her like, who's she telling to call her or whatever. Not knowing that was finna be a number I'll be known by for the next 5 years. We went inside. She was like, oh, you could take this off. You could take that off. I was like, oh, they said I could have. Baby, you can't have no chain with no diamonds on. Take that off and give it to him. This is how she talking. I was like, okay. I took the chain off, gave it to him. She was like, and that ring too. Give him that. I said, well, they said I can have a ring. She said, and you can. It cannot have any stones. They have to be a plain band or black. So I'm just looking now. I'm like, she told him, baby, you could give her one last hug and you could go out that way. I say, oh, he ain't going to be able to sit in here with me? He can't come in here and talk to y'all with me? She was like, talk for what? You talked to the judge, didn't you? The judge sent you here, not me. Thank you, sir. He walked out the door looking. I'm sitting there looking. When that door closed, baby, a chill came over me. She said, and I need you to cut them braids out or take them out. I said my hair. She said, yes, you will not hit my compound with it. When she said compound, all I heard in my head, compound, compound, compound. So I'm looking at her. She say, stand over there in that wall right there. Baby, she came in there. She said, you could take that off and put it in this bag and here go your clothes. I'm looking at her like, and she say, hurry up, take off everything and I need you to bend over and cough. Baby, I was distraught. I was devastated. And she said, I don't like to repeat myself. Her stern assertiveness let you know, baby, do what she said, when she said it, and how she said it. So I'm like, she say, no, baby, I need you to bend it over and open it up and cough. I'm like, that was the most humiliating thing in my life. But I remember sitting there like I had an attitude. And she said, you will not hit my compound until they get cut out. So you could go to the shoe. Y'all will find out what that is later because I ain't know what the heck she was talking about. You could go to the shoe or you could go ahead and take them out. And I'll give you up here till I get off. And then you can hit the compound. I sat there and I started taking those braids out, y'all. Taking them plaits out. And I turned around. And all I did was open up them papers. And look down at them sentencing papers. And this is what I began to tell myself as I was reading it, y'all. So after I looked over that paper and I realized, baby, you in here. And this what she say. I coughed, opened it up, and baby, when I look back, you could see like down the hallway. If y'all want to know what happened when I had to walk that hallway, comment next.